The deck that we're using this at this time for the guidance for the theme of the reading is coming from a deck called the Sacred Path. It was published in 1990. I've had it for a while. And the card I pulled for you at this time, Cap, is the Great Smoking Mirror, card of reflections. There's a couple of levels to this that I'm getting. The first one is that we are all connected. We are all one. There is no real predominant, and no one's better than the other. We're all one. And anything you see in another that reflects back to you and you respond with a negative feeling, then that's an illusion. That's not about the other person. That's more about what's within you that may be tending to. So that's on one level, is that we're all connected. And then and we're more similar than different, and to see similarities in others, right? And then another level of it is just literally self-reflection, time for removing any veils or clouds that your personal identity clings to, right? And allowing the soul energy to come forth instead. That will facilitate this connectedness to others as well. And then you can lead by example on a soul level for others. Okay? We're using this spread that I call the tree, using the Zen Tarot deck that will expand upon this idea of the Great Smoking Mirror, and knowing that, your natural worth, your natural talents are connected in a way, like they are organic to you, but they also are living in others as well. And by showing up as your full embodied self, you're able to connect more deeply with others around you. Be a good, accept the light and accept the shadow as equal. Okay, because when you see shadow in another, it's a reflection, right? We all have shadow, and there is not a label that needs to be put on that as, positive or negative or good or bad. It's all experience. It's all part of what's necessary in order to move through life as spiritual beings on this physical plane. Okay? Your starting point is this level of branches here on this tree spread, and then we take the trunk energy and use it to expand and move beyond where we are now and reach for another level of understanding. Okay, Capricorn, and your starting point is sorrow. This is a definite feeling of disconnection. There may have been a recent loss. You may feel unsure of where to move next on your journey. This is on a soul level. Your truest version of yourself is still waiting to emerge, and it's developing and shifting and changing as we go. So feeling that disconnection, this just tells me that some of us are out of alignment with our truest self, with our source energy. Sadness and sorrow like that usually will be an indicator of your misalignment within. Okay? Things will happen that make us feel sad, but if you truly believe in this oneness and this eternalness of our being, then moving through life and moving with gains and losses it just becomes a little more seamless, because we understand it's the natural flow. It's part of our journey, and why we need some of these things to happen in order to realign and get ourselves on a path of growth again. So this is our starting point. This is also a cloud card on the Zen deck, which is a mental energy. So for some of you, I'm getting that you're a little bit maybe going over and over in your mind how you're disconnected with who you used to be, or things just aren't the same anymore, or there's a feeling for me, for some of you, that you're not living your full potential, your fullest potential, because you feel ungrounded in it. Like, oh, I'm so different now, or the people around me are different, so I cannot recreate that power that I used to have, or I cannot create a space where I can become empowered, because you're focusing on all the things that you don't have, right? Instead of the things that you do carry, the wisdoms that you carry, the things that you've learned, the people you're surrounding yourself with now. Those are all things you do have and things to build upon. And I'm feeling that if this feeling of sorrow or sadness is of course it's a temporary experience, and it's a good time to sort of assess your gifts, what you have, and the abundance and the richness in your life, in order to pull out of this feeling of loss or sadness, or the have-nots. You're rich and abundant in just being yourself. And that's what we want you to tap back into. Okay? Underlying and underneath this energy within you, you're supported by the knowledge that you are ending a phase. This could be a personal phase of your own spiritual development. This could be that this sorrow is soon ending, and you know it. You know you'll get through it. You know you will find your way back to the light, and you know you will be able to reconnect again with, this reflections card. You'll be able to reconnect with others around you, and maybe even allow in some new connections and some new experiences to facilitate your soul's growth. So within you, you understand, there's been a time, or there have been times of sadness or a feeling of lack or loss, and it's a phase, and that phase is coming to an end. Another thing to note on this completion card, and remember, this is an internal energy. The cards on the left side here are all within you, and the cards on the right are external energies in your day-to-day world. But another thing to note about this is, within you, you understand that there's an ending coming, that you're growing and learning and ready to close out a personal phase of your soul, maybe. It's also tied into your intuition. So listen to those hits you get. Listen to the tugs, change direction, go toward that, go meet this new person, open up my arms to allow new energies in. Your intuition will guide you as what to do next, as far as to move through this period of feeling lack or feeling loss. This could be you're losing an aspect of yourself that is a positive thing. You could be a previously very jealous person, say, and you're determined and really working toward creating a sense of acceptance of anyone else's actions or movements, and not taking everything so personally, and then that helps to ease these feelings of, jealousy. Maybe they have what you don't have, and you feel such a separation between where you are and what you need or what you want, and you see others that have it and you're jealous of it, or you're feeling, you'll never get there. There's all kinds of internal conversations that could be going on with any one of you that this represents. Okay? It's not really a specific thing just for any, one group. It's very, very many different energies. In your external world, you feel that there's conflict. And I'm going to say either with another, or literally, like we just said, between you and what you want, between you and where you want to reach next in your soul's journey. You may feel there's a battle going on. There's a fight to get there. And what I want to say is that may be true, but in your human, in our human selves, that's how we want to solve these conflicts. We want to get out there and wrestle everything around and make sure, we want to take action. And sometimes inaction is the best remedy. Pulling back, getting back in touch with that oneness that we all share, may be the solution to sort of easing these kind of frightening or sorrowful energies here. These are mental energies, but within you, there's a strong force knowing that it's coming to an end. Okay? I want you to tap more into that knowledge, because then it will dissipate. Okay? Moving forward, this trump card is the key to moving forward, and it is a good one. It's all about joy and feeling accomplished and feeling, at one with others and dancing in that rain and taking that sorrow and knowing whenever I'm feeling loss or sorrow, I also can just shift my gaze and move my focus towards something else in my life that's bringing joy, that's bringing a cause for celebration. Always you can find a gift where there is perceived loss or negativity. There's always something else to shift your focus to. And that, like I said, pulling back a little bit and realizing you have the support of the universe. You have spirit is always guiding you. If you're in a space of sorrow or loss or disconnection right now, it is there for you to learn from and to grow from, and to really see the contrast between this sad state I'm in and the possibility of feeling good again. And I know I can. I have before. If I turn move my gaze just a little bit, 90 degrees to the right, I can see, animals playing with each other, puppies playing with each other in the park, or children laughing and singing, and other people bringing their gifts to the earth, artists and creatives. And you can turn your gaze toward anything that uplifts you at any given time. And you have that control and you have that choice. Okay? And when you start to really be able to put that into place, it becomes it almost becomes a natural response. That bright side way of seeing things becomes natural. But underneath all of it, because sorrow and loss and sadness is part of being human, and so is joy, right? And underneath it all comes that universal connectedness that we can tap into, knowing that we're always supported by spirit. We always are. We do lose track of it sometimes, and that's okay. But relearning that and re-engaging with the flow of spirit is a beautiful, beautiful thing to do. And like I said, I feel like some of you get this already, and that it is time now to model this process for others, to sort of be that reflection for others and help others learn to move through some difficult situations with more ease. Okay? So for some of you, this is reaffirmation of what you're already putting into practice, and then taking it to the next level and sharing it and letting others see how it works. For some of you, you get the concept and you haven't put it into practice yet, as far as looking at the bright side and allowing the sorrow and the sadness to be there, and then also allowing the next beautiful thing to come into your arms and come into your experience. Okay? Next level of awareness here, once we get this acknowledged, down here at the root, is where the others come in. Like we said in the beginning, this card is of reflection. This is talking about how we are all learning and giving and sharing information with one another simply by being, because we are all connected, and you're getting that more and more. And this participation card grounds you in that knowledge. It takes experiencing other people's ways and engaging with other people in different ways than you normally would have in order to facilitate your own soul's growth. Now, underlying and within you, you might still have some fear that others will see you differently than you want to be seen, or project their fears onto you, or you may feel like you're projecting your own sort of self-perceived shortcomings as someone else's fault, or I couldn't help it. I don't know, if you are, say you're you have a need to control situations. You're kind of a control freak or whatever, which a lot of us are. Maybe you have that need. Well, it's not my fault, because when I let go of control, then everything goes to shit. It's not my fault. I'm not the one that put that, I have to keep, well, a lot of that is projection. A lot of that is, first of all, it's fear being projected into your experience. But what's within you is that, instead of reflections, you're seeing the projections. So instead of realizing, oh yeah, I see these faults in others, or I see this beauty in this, and that is part of me, and these faults in others is also part of me. Instead of seeing that, the projection says, I see this beauty, but that's coming from that person and I have nothing to do with it. Or I see this fault and that I'm disconnected from that because I'm not, it's not my fault that person's that way. Instead of recognizing that aspect within yourself and then tending to it. It doesn't have to be us and them, right? And that's what the projections card kind of reflects, is us and them, and that there's actually a separation. The reflections card, which is the basis of your reading, erases that separation. It builds a bridge. It sends a thread out to connect. It helps us realize that we are always gaining and learning, whether it's through sorrow or happiness or conflict or, self-protection. We're always going to find ways to gain and grow our soul. It does take participating in life and being around others and learning from others and sharing our experiences with others. It takes that. It does not take blaming others, right? Keep that connection, that flow of knowing all these things are occurring in your life for you, not to you. Keep that energy going, because that's where the real growth starts. If you can master that, then that's where the real growth begins. That's the new vision card. This shows up in your external life. This helps you point your arrow in a new direction. This helps you to see that the way I always did it isn't the only way. Recognizing others that there are some trailblazers that are moving through their lives in a profoundly different way, and recognizing that works for them. It may not work for you, but it works for them, and that is good, because that reminds you to continue your own search or your own journey with the most open mind and spirit possible, because we're all doing it. We're all doing it together. We're all doing it individually, but we're all doing it together, right? Okay, outcomes. And love this. Requests from spirit. Oh, look at this, is all blending into a beautiful ending of a new level of awareness and understanding one another, literally understanding, staying open-hearted and receptive, and knowing that this is what we were saying before, is that there is no us and them. These bars that sort of appear to separate us from others, they're an illusion. If you see up here, up top, the bars are fading away. This is an illusion that there is us and them. We are all one. We are all connected. Stay open to receiving messages from spirit, from the universe, and from your own internal guide. Stay open to receiving new ways of seeing things and doing things. Keep it open, because there is really nothing shutting you off from your growth or from your profound connection to others. Within you, you're learning this. You're getting that feeling of trust. If you just trust life, like I said, it's happening for you, not to you. Your experience will be vastly different than this one here, than this starting point of loss and sorrow. Your ability to allow in whatever needs to come in at any given time, whether it has a bad, a negative connotation to you in your mind or not. Allow it in, because it's a learning experience. There is a gift in it somewhere. And like I said, you can always just shift your focus, find the gift. It's a practice. It's not automatic, but it is possible. You have a lot of emotion, a lot of water here. And these are all cards that tend to your feelings and your emotions. And in moving through your lifetime and your experience here on the planet, you're staying in touch with what you're feeling. I know as Capricorns, you guys are more practical, you're earthbound, what you see is what you get. Beautiful grounded souls. But sometimes that shuts you off from what you're actually experiencing within, what your soul is experiencing. So there's a lot of emotion-based energies here that you want to either continue if you've already tapped into that, or to start to really open up and discover. Keep that receptivity, keep the openness alive within you. Bottom line, outcome, insight into this whole reading is you got this. You got this. Your aloneness is not disconnection from others. Your aloneness is the full presence of yourself. And that reminds you that how connected you are to others, right? Your self, the full presence of who you really are is what creates that oneness in the universe. It is necessary in order to feel that connection to others. So you're getting this. You're ready, Capricorn. If you haven't already, you're ready to move from these sort of more earthbound energies into a higher spiritual calling. If you haven't already, and that if you have already, if you are on that path, this reading is a reflection of that journey and a reminder that you're going in the right direction. If you are just starting to sort of gain the concept that there's more to it than what I wake up and look at and see and touch and feel, there's more to it. And there is a lot more driving, my choices and my responses and my experiences. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes. If you're starting to get that concept, then this reading will take you to that next level. This process. You are beautiful, unique beings. And when you are able to see that uniqueness in others, like I said, even if it's not something you would choose for your own life, but to see the uniqueness in others and appreciate it and allow it to be there, that is true connection. That's true connection. That allowing, that receptivity, that understanding, the dissolution of of these perceived barriers that keep you from experiencing others fully. Beautiful. I love this reading for you guys.